What's going on, gurus? My name is Nick, and I am back here today to discuss the AppHosts or the Edge Gateway if you're using a QRadar Suite environment. Either one, it's going to be the same thing. We're actually just going to be referring to the integrations and being able to install and use integrations within the platform. With that being said, something new has come to light that I just discovered within the past week, and I figured that this was something that I wanted to bring to you all to make sure that you were aware of this. Because prior to this video, I have always told people that if they were going to deploy a development app host that's connected to their internal or their private registry for their own development of their own apps, and the IBM app host that was actually connected to the IBM registry. That you had to have two servers for that, for one for each registry. That actually apparently has changed. And I looked through the documentation. I did not see any change in the documentation, but it does appear now that you can actually run one app host with multiple registries. So let's go ahead and dive into exactly how we would do that. All right. Here within our environments, you can see I've got my demo environment or my QA environment on the left-hand side, and I am currently logged into an app host that I built specifically for this demonstration. What we're going to do is you can see I've got two integrations here. The first one is my artifact functions, or I also called it artifact utilities out on our integration page. So you can go out there and you can grab this one, but this app is going to be simulating my app registry or my private app registry app because of course this first was installed in my local app registry. Now, the second one is going to be the network utils. This was obviously something I did not develop. This was IBM developed. So this one will not be able to be deployed in my private registry environment, but it will work in the IBM registry environment. So let's go ahead and start to set this up. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to slide over just a little bit here, and I am going to add my first app host. I'm going to go ahead and call this the IBM app host. And of course, after I fill that out, it is going to give me the pairing information. I'm going to go ahead and copy that pairing information and come over to my app host. And I'm going to run a quick command here called sudo manage app with a capital A, host with a capital S or H, sorry. And then what we're going to do is run the install command of that software. Of course, since I'm running this as root, it'll ask me for my password. But ultimately, what it's going to ask me for once I get logged in here is my pairing key info. So I'll provide that here, and I will go ahead and get that configured and installed. Of course, it's going to ask me if I want to trust that self-signed cert. I will go ahead and tell it yes, that cert is okay. All right, and so we got the first one installed. If we come back over here, I'll go ahead and close and complete that. We can see that this is now registered as paired. And in just a second, we'll actually see a version number and we'll see the CPU percentage up here as well. All right, and just like that, we've got our version number right up here. We have our percentage right here, and we should be good to go. Now, let's go ahead and add our second app host. For this one, we're going to call it the private app host. Again, it's going to give us our configuration information. And we're going to come back over here. I will run a quick clear command. And then now that we're back up in the top right section here, we're going to run the exact same command we just did to set up a second app host on the same server. There we go. Provide that pairing information. Accept the certification. And now when we come back to our SOAR environments, you will see that we are paired again and our private app host in just a minute. There we go. The version's connected and we'll see the CPU percentage come over too, just like that. All right. Now that we have both of these app hosts set up, now we're going to have to run one more command. So the way that we're going to actually configure one of these to run on a private registry and the other one not to is let's jump back into our putty session over here. We will clear the screen again. So we're back up here in the top right. Then what we're going to run is sudo manage AppHost again. But instead of install this time, what we're going to run is registry. Then what we're going to do is a -- registry. Then we're going to define which or where the registry is located. This one, I'm using the GitHub container registry.io, and my registry is located in the /muma location. Then we're going to add a user, and my user is going to be Muma to match my GitHub container registry account. Now that we've gone ahead and typed all this in, we'll go ahead and run this. And now we can see that it's actually going to ask us which one do we want to apply this to. We can see we've got the IBM app host on number 1 here, and we've got the private app host on number 2. So we'll go ahead and say that we're going to want to put this on our number 2 instance. Then it's going to ask for my registry password. Of course, I'm not going to give you all that here, so let me go get that off to the side here. All right, and now I will enter in that registry password, and it will finalize that setup. All right, now that we've finalized the setup of the app hosts, now what we're going to do is we are going to jump into the SOAR and demonstrate how these will work now. So first, let's go ahead and jump into the network utilities. We go into the config settings. Should already have the configuration set up. Yep, I do. So now what we need to do is just go ahead and test this. First, we're going to go ahead and try to deploy this in the private app host to make sure that this is actually configured to use the private app host and not the other one, or the IBM one. All right, and look at that. We got an error almost right away. Coming back in here and looking, it looks like it's looking in the GitHub container registry.io Muma folder, and it's looking for the IBM Resilience and the FN Network Utilities app, which is not there. Makes sense. I didn't create that app. I didn't move that app over into my app registry. So let's go ahead and try to deploy this in the IBM app host. All right, and we can see now that that was able to deploy successfully with our test configuration. So let's go ahead and save and push changes, and then we'll jump over into the details tab and deploy that instance. While that's deploying, let's go ahead and jump back into here. We'll go to our artifact functions for SOAR. Again, go into the configuration. You can see my configuration is all set up. I'm ready to go. So let's go ahead and try to deploy this in the private app host. All right, and it looks like that was able to come back and successfully deploy within the private app host. So now we can go ahead and save and push these changes and deploy that instance as well. And when we jump out here, we can see that this one is deployed and ready. And in just another minute, we'll see that the artifact functions will deploy successfully as well. All right, and we can see that that one is now deployed too. All right, I know this was a rather short video, but I found this week. I thought that this was really cool, especially since I've been telling people for so long that in order to have a private registry and the public IBM registry in one place, you had to run it on two different servers. Now it looks like we've changed that, so we can actually run one app host with multiple registries. And so I hope that you can use this to your benefit so that ultimately you can cut down on maybe processing power if you had to deploy these in multiple VMs, or if you had to use or deploy this in multiple cloud instances as well. I hope that this helps benefit you as you set up your environment. If it did and you like this video, please give me a like and a comment down below. If this was not really up your alley, you have other questions that you would like to answer or get answered, we'll try to get a video out for those questions if they're a little bit more complicated. If they're simple and easy, we'll try to answer them down below as well. So feel free to drop a comment down below too if you've got other questions. And with that, we will see you gurus next time.